I'd like to give a message to the Democrat Party. Now that it's time for elections, as usual, we're seeing Democrats everywhere going to all of our places to ask for the black vote. Now, the one thing that has happened in the last 60 years, as a matter of fact, since the JFK assassination, is that you ask for our votes, but you never tell us what you're going to do for us. As a matter of fact, right now, your campaign is based totally on Donald Trump. You're not asking us to vote for Donald Trump. You're asking us to vote for you. So since you're asking us to vote for you, I'd like to ask you, what are you going to do for us? And tell me, what have you done for us lately?
Oh my.
You know, you look at all of the things that are going on in the country. As a matter of fact, we are at war. We're at war with Iran because they bombed Israel, and this has been going on now for a few months now. But now, because of a recent assassination in Iran, that now we're in an active war. Do you know that when you got into office, we were not in any active wars? Now we're in 6 active wars? I'd like to ask this of the Democrat Party. How many young black men are going to die in this war of yours? How many young black women? Because now I know that you all have a bill before Congress that even women should be included in the draft because you say that they may be needed. I'd like to ask you, tell us, what is your plan for ending this war? What is your plan for peace? Because we understand that war is a huge money maker. The military-industrial complex, which is made of people who manufacture weapons for war, they make so much money off of war, destroying countries, then going back and rebuilding the country. So we'd like to ask you, how is the war that you have put us in right now going to affect black kids? And the thing about it, if it goes into a protracted war and it turns into a world war, wars can last up to 10 years. So we have people that have kids that are 8 years old that maybe need to be concerned about their 8-year-old being in war one day. We definitely like to ask that. Then the other thing that we like to ask you, what about inflation? Inflation, when the price of goods go up so that people cannot go to the grocery store. I went to Walmart the other day and I had 2 little bags. I was so surprised. It was $42 for 2 little bags. And you know what? I didn't have anything of value. It was just little things. People cannot go to the grocery store and spend under $200 and get 2 pieces of meat. It's unbelievable. What are you doing about that? What are you doing about crime? Because I know that you had said that you wanted to defund the police. What are you planning on doing about crime? Because like in cities like Chicago, in Baltimore, in Detroit, in Washington, D.C., the murder rate is horrendous. And then the last thing I'd like to ask you, what about the black replacement plan? We understand that your party is pushing, and I saw Congressman Jeffries get on and tell us that it was racial if we did not accept illegal immigrants into our communities. Well, let me ask you this. Why in New York City did you close a school down so that you can house illegal immigrants? You did not warn the parents. It was like on a Tuesday, and they were told that their kids could not go to school for the rest of the year. They had to go online. Why are you putting illegal immigrants before all parents? And you know what? All the parents are complaining. The people in Chicago, they had over 600 people at a meeting in Chicago because you closed the rec center that was in the black community so that you can house illegal immigrants. So it's not like you're not hearing us. You hear us, but you expect us to just vote for you whether we are happy with you or not. Tell us this. I would like for you can call me if you want to. I know you know how to find me, but you can call me and ask, what is it that you want from us? And the reason I say that is when Donald Trump got ready to run for office in 2016, I was at a conference and I was called and he asked, what do we need to do for the black community? And I say, save black colleges, because President Obama had taken 75% of the funding from HBCUs from their Thurgood Marshall Fund. I said, give them their money back. When he got in office, he refunded the Thurgood Marshall Fund. He also forgave the loans that they had from Katrina, the black schools that were affected by Hurricane Katrina. He gave them their money back, and he made it where they did not have to reapply for funding every year. Do you know anything about black people except the fact that, what did you say, hot sauce and smoking weed? You know, I went to college. I've been to 4 universities. I didn't smoke weed. I'm so sorry. So I don't know if you and I can relate to each other, but can you answer questions that are simple, that affect as many people as possible? And I'm speaking for the black community because you pander to us. And since you're pandering to us, I'm going to ask you for something in return. Give us something back. Tell us your policies. I couldn't care less what Donald Trump is doing. Tell me your policies. What do you plan to do for us when you are elected as president of the United States?
I don't know this wonderful woman here, but I would just love her to take a bow. I mean, it's just like, it's asinine. It boggles my mind how someone can just ransack, just fly on through, you know, like the analogy, like the Tasmanian devil, just come on through, and then all of a sudden, ta-da, and say what?
The U.S. is experiencing record inflation, the worst in 30 years, way beyond expectations. OPEC didn't increase oil production. Can you tell us a little bit about how you would prevent the new spending and your Build Back Better agenda from exacerbating the problem? And also, what else are you going to do to fix this problem with inflation?
All right, thank you. Well, let's start with this. Prices have gone up, and families and individuals are dealing with the realities of that bread costs more, that gas costs more. And we have to understand what that means. That's about the cost of living going up. That's about having to stress and stretch limited resources. That's about a source of stress for families that is not only economic, but is on a daily level, something that is a heavy weight to carry. So it is something that we take very seriously.
So you just want people to go off of what? The color of your skin and whatever nationality you choose to be, and whichever one works for you in that conversation, being on a team of people who signed everything out of office that was placed in office when Trump became a president. But what's your plan? Oh, I believe we've been told freedom. But freedom for who, precisely? It happens every single time. This wonderful woman here shared the absolute truth. It's not something that's just out of the blue. Every single time, every 4 years or so comes around, they pop into churches, whoever will welcome them, and says a whole lot of nothing. And as this woman said, enough of talking about Trump. Literally, what are you going to do? When you stand strong 10 toes down into what it is that you said you're going to do, you don't even have to mention the other side. What are you going to do? What is your real plan? And be very clear and speak slow without all the smiles. Can't you tell when somebody's lying to you? Can't you tell when somebody's just telling you something just because you want to hear it, but there is no sincerity and authenticity in that? Can't we tell? Are most so delusional and blind and emotional that all the tricks are working? Kudos to this woman here. May she take a bow.
Kamala Harris is combating the angry black woman stereotype.
I first found out about Kamala Harris whether she was in Senate or Congress. I don't remember which. I'm sorry. Someone will comment it. I used to geek out on C-SPAN, everywhere I could find her videos, and see her when she was in litigation in those chambers. She was in the Senate hearings, I believe. She was one of the most ruthless, intelligent, wise, aggressive people in the room at all times. She held no punches, and she let no one get off for anything. And when she got into office, I was really shocked because I was like, what has she become now? Like, is she drinking? Like, what is this caricature she's doing? This actually makes a lot of sense now. I don't think that Joe Biden's gonna make it through another term. I also think it's very telling that the Democrats would run him because literally anyone would win against him. And I always hold out hope for Black women. Like, that's what I'm gonna do always. Also, go watch the rest of that video. It was great. Follow her. We're on Black Girl TikTok, so follow. And she's beautiful, so. What I'm hoping is that, well, I'm not hoping this, but I don't see Joe making it through the rest of his term. What if she comes back to the person that she was? Now she's already set up this little fun image of a wine mom.
I think a lot of that has to do with the position that's up for grabs right now that Ms. Harris is running for. I don't see how anyone can have that major, that much of a change in their personality and who they really are without a huge life-altering epiphany or conversion or whatever you want to call it. But other than that, it's just a facade. Must be a great PR specialist, someone that's showing them how to function in public relations. And a lot of time that's what happens in politics. But at the end of the day, you are who you are. How are you a ruthless lawyer, prosecuting attorney for years? That's who you are for years, and then all of a sudden a switcheroo. I think that it's possible that it's a huge hoax, and for those that have any level of discernment or that gut feeling like something's not right here, I think that, like this young woman said, and this is someone, I'm not familiar with who she is, but this is someone who's followed her, as she's admittedly spoken, for years. As she said, she geeked out over Ms. Harris for years because she was such a ruthless lawyer. And then now all of a sudden she's just like this Susie Homemaker, smiling, happy, woman who is taking away the quote unquote stereotype of the quote angry Black woman and always smiling and pleasant and all of that. It could very well be a hoax and a wonderful act. Standing ovation, and the Emmy goes to.
Good morning, everybody. I am on my way to Albany, Georgia. We're going to do some work down at the new location for Auntie Angie's house, and I really just wanted to kind of come on here and just give my thoughts on the whole Kamala Harris and, a Black woman being president. I personally don't have an issue with the idea of a Black woman being a president. That's something that I stand behind 100% and totally believe in. But my issue with Kamala Harris is more so about what she stands for and what she's running on. And for the life of me, what I can't understand is us as a people, how we fought so hard to be free. We fought for equality, we fought for civil rights. And now the front line of the fight is abortion, aborting our future, aborting our children, aborting the next generation. And that's something I just can't stand for. Her whole platform is abortion.
Indeed. I agree with this woman that was so eloquently said that how is it that all of these years are our brown skin, our forefathers and mothers fought for equality, fought for true freedom, fought for all of that for generations. And now that there is someone who's representing, quote unquote, our culture, that now you have a chance to do something about what was fought for. And yet, oddly enough, it seems that you're fighting for something else that had nothing to do with our cause as a people. If you want to run on culture and all of that, be my guest. As this woman here said, listen, it's not about the fact that it's an African-American woman or whatever the culture is that's being presented at that time, which benefits Ms. Harris's running, whatever culture it is at the time that's benefiting Ms. Harris. But at the end of the day, there's no issue with that. Wonderful. Kudos to whomever is running and whatever your cultural background is. And if it happens to be African-American, wonderful. But at the end of the day, that's not what's going to be the forefront. And that's not what's going to gain the vote. Not on my end and on many people's end that, that agree on this issue. How in the world, now that you have this position, is your main topic, your main issue, abortion? There is no way as a wife and as a mom that I'm going to get behind someone who's pushing exactly the opposite of what I believe in and quote unquote what's been fought for so long. You have to be very careful and pay attention to when people are trying to pull on your emotional strings here. So it's a huge difference between the truth and what sounds like the truth.
Black women, hear me very clearly, because I'm gonna need you to prepare yourself for the biggest level of misogyny you have ever witnessed in your lifetime. That misogyny and racism, it's gonna be something you have never witnessed or experienced in your life. And we're gonna have to prepare for that. As sad as that is as a reality, it is reality. So what I'm gonna need y'all to do is to protect your peace, protect your mental health. And by that, I mean doing the following. Block out all that noise. And I mean quite literally block it out. Curate your social media feeds to block that out. Unfollow people who are not good for your mental health. Log off social media. Even watch your news consumption. Whether she wins or loses, that increased level of misogyny is still going to happen. Protect yourself, protect your mental health, protect your peace.
Have you ever heard someone speak to you with partial truths and then mix it with some manipulative jargon, try to make it all sound like, this wonderful word salad? That's what this young woman has shared. At least that's how I receive that. Protect yourself. Guard yourself from that, which I don't disagree until the other part is brought in, that there's a huge array of misogyny, because you don't have to agree with someone to hear them out. And I could still say, thank you for sharing. I still don't agree with you, but thank you for sharing. I remember a pastor years ago, this man of God said years ago, that's good and fine, but don't check your good sense at the door. No, you bring that in here with you. Well, that's the end of this video. If you enjoyed yourself, check out the video below where I explain how I believe Kamala could beat Trump. Links are in the description to support. Comment, rate, and subscribe for more content like this.